Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again for this tuning in on the simulcast on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and on X. We're glad you all could be with us today. Going to bring in our friends over on IG so they can be a part of our conversation. And last but certainly not least, going to connect with our friends over on Amazon Live. Very excited about this next segment we're going to be doing. She's making her first appearance on our program today. We have a lot to talk about. She had a very big 2025, and I know this is going to be great for you guys as you're heading into your 2026 to find out about all the great things that she's done, but also her words of encouragement for all of you as well. I'm excited to welcome Taylor Farrar to our broadcast today. You guys know her most recently from Divorce Sistas. Of course, she played the character Kelly there. We're going to talk to her about that, but also just about her acting journey, what it's been like for her to do what she loves, and also what she's looking forward to as well. So I think you guys are going to really get a lot out of that. For you guys who are joining us on the Amazon side, you will see if you need to catch up on Divorce Sistas, you'll be able to see it there for you guys. But Taylor, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I am super excited to be here.
But the pleasure's definitely all mine. I should mention Taylor and I actually connected last year through everyone's platform through Instagram, and I was so excited when she said yes to being on the platform. I'm glad to catch up with you now, though, Taylor, because as you kind of now are beginning 2026, what was it like for you to kind of reflect on the whirlwind that was 2025 for you?
Oh my goodness. Well, obviously, I just sat there and I was like, wow, I cannot believe that I am on Divorce Sisters. Like, it is a dream come true to work with Tyler Perry and
Mhm.
just reflecting on that and, working so hard my whole life to make
Yeah.
this dream possible. It was like, I don't even know how to describe it. It was an indescribable feeling. And I was also on Will Trent, and that was also another dream come true.
Mhm.
So it was great. And it made me super excited for 2026 because I am just hoping that there will be more amazing opportunities like those.
Look, I already know there will be for you, Taylor. For one thing, because you and I were talking briefly before we went live here, your attitude is, for one, so contagious. I
Oh,
noticed
thanks.
it through other interviews that you've done, but also just in your approach to life. And I'm curious for yourself, do you feel as though your attitude and that optimism does play a role in the way you approach your life professionally and the opportunities that are coming to you?
Absolutely. I totally believe that this is my calling. This is what I need to be doing. God has blessed me with amazing gifts and talents, and I'm using it,
Mhm.
and I'm super excited to do it. So,
Yeah.
whenever I am acting and I am just doing what I love, the joy just comes out of me naturally, and
Mhm.
it's super fun. And it's so encouraging to hear that you say it's contagious because that is something that I love to hear.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that goes to something I talk a lot about on my platform, Taylor, and that is the importance of one association,
Yeah.
right? And it's making sure you're surrounding yourself with people who will upbuild you and and inspire you, but also just the way you feel about yourself. So, speaking about yourself, when did you know for you it was acting? I think for all of our audience
Mhm.
out there, Taylor, they'll go back to when they decided on what that thing was they wanted to do. For you, when was that moment when it came to acting?
Absolutely. I will say when I was 8 years old,
Mm.
I loved Disney Channel, obviously. And I was like watching all the shows and I was like, Mom, Dad, like, I want to do this. And they're like, okay, like we can totally see you doing that. Like, what can we do to help you and support you? And I started doing acting classes. I started getting plugged in with musical theater and like my local theater and everything. And one thing about me that my parents will totally testify is there may be like, oh, Mom, I want to play chess. And she's like, okay, let's play chess. And then I'm like, Mom, I want to do a chess tournament. She's like, okay, let's do it. And then a week later, I'm like, all right, never mind. I don't know what happened with that chess thing. I don't know why I wanted to do that. Like, I will come up with all these ideas and plans for myself, and I'm like, let's
Yeah.
do it. And then I'll get bored of it. But acting, it has stayed there ever since I was 8 years old. And at first, like, I thought it was so out of reach. I'm like, there's no way I
Yeah.
can do this. Like, it is something that a lot of people want, and it's super
Mhm.
hard and super competitive.
Yeah.
But I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe Will Smith said, like, if you have a plan B, you're expecting to fail.
Mhm.
So why have a plan B? So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I want my plan A to be, I want to be an actress. And plan B, I don't have one because I don't want to fail. And that
Yeah.
really pushed me and it stuck with me. And it that's how I knew, okay, this is where I need to be and this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, I love that. And now of course you're not only here, but also showing other people what's possible, Taylor. And that's the next thing I want to talk to you about. And I want to say hello. I appreciate you guys over there on YouTube. Jess Matley. Hey Jess, good to be to see you over there on IG. Glad you could join us. Conscious D, hello to you as well. And you guys joining us over there on Amazon. If you guys have any questions for Taylor, put those in the chat. I'll be monitoring that as well. But Taylor, that leads us to the other thing you and I were talking about before we went live, because I think I remember watching LeVar Burton on TV as a nerdy kid and saying, watching Reading Rainbow and saying, I want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to do what he's doing. You're showing people that regardless of where they're from,
Mhm.
whether they know anyone in the industry or not, that it's possible. What has that been like for you to reflect on, where you started and how it's helped you to get to where you are today?
100%. I would just say like having an attitude of never saying no to any
Yeah.
opportunity. Um, there were times where, I did theater and I got cast in the ensemble. And a lot of
Mhm.
actors, I mean, it's hard. You're like, ah, ensemble, like I kind of wanted, a little speaking role, but hey, it's the experience. It
Yeah.
is like you're on stage, this is a step towards the direction you want to go in. Why say no?
Yeah.
And I would say having that attitude of just being like, yes, I'm going to do that. Yes, I want to learn more. Yes, I want to take this class. Yes, I want to be, ensemble in this play or even behind the scenes so I can have an appreciation for what happens behind the scenes. Um, that totally helped me. I feel like kind of, learn more. And then I feel like it
Mhm.
also created that positive attitude, like, oh, I want to do this and it is
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
So that is one thing that I will totally say is never saying no to opportunities.
Yeah, I think that's such a great reminder for all of us. I want to say for those who are just tuning in, welcome. Y'all are watching Cyrus Webb Presents. We're on Amazon Live, but we're simulcasting on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, and on Instagram. Taylor Farrar is our guest today. She's an actress. You guys have seen her most recently, bringing to life Kelly on the hit show Divorce Sistas. We're going to let you guys know how to stay connected with Kelly, with that, with Taylor, and all the great things that are happening with her as well. Let's talk about Kelly for a moment because I watched the show and I love. So let me just say Taylor is definitely not Kelly.
Thank you.
So, but what was it like for you slipping into Kelly's skin though, Taylor, and bringing this complicated and layered character to life?
Absolutely. Well, I would say kind of looking at the whole picture of the show and like my family's dynamic on the show and understanding, okay, why is Kelly? Because let me tell you, if I talk to my parents the way Kelly talks to her
Yeah.
parents, I would not be here doing this interview.
Right.
So I would just totally say, like, I had to separate myself. It's not about me and
Mm,
what Taylor would do. It's about what Kelly would do and why she's doing it. So always
yeah.
understanding the why. Okay, obviously she's frustrated from what she sees as a teenager, growing up, probably being in the spotlight, seeing her parents,
Hmm.
being big or her dad being a big pastor and like what that meant for her, how did that affect her.
Hmm.
So it's cliche but coming up with my own little backstory,
Yeah.
whether if it's true or not, but
Hmm.
that totally helped me like get in character and totally feeling Kelly and her frustrations with what she's dealing with. So
Yeah.
yeah. A lot of people don't like it though.
Well, let me say this. And I can only speak for myself, Taylor, as a viewer. I understood Kelly more as a series,
Yeah.
because once you saw, as you just were saying, I love what you just said, because of the pressures of not only having to be yourself, but be identified
Mm.
as the child of, or even the representation of, their parents, has to be a lot, in itself. So that leads us to how you and I connected. We're kind of coming full circle. So after watching, I was like, let me look this actress up. And that led me to Instagram. So what has that been like for you now to be one of those that people are getting to know who you are, being able to follow your journey? What has that been like for you to kind of sit with yourself?
It is so unreal and it's also a little bit like, wait, people like have seen me? Like what? It's like this, it just doesn't feel real. And I'll get like so many awesome DMs from people who are just like,
Mm,
hey, I saw you, like you did a great job. and it's beyond like meaningful because
Yeah.
and I'll see some comments on different platforms of like, oh my gosh, I can't stand the girl, and I'm like, wait, yay, because that means I did my job right.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's super great, and I just want like my social media to be a platform where people can come and ask any questions like that they have, even if they're
Yeah.
wanting to do acting, and they're like, hey, like, how
Mm,
do I get started? Like, I want to be that person for people to be like, hey, here's how, and don't give up, you know?
yeah. Love that. I love that. I love that. So you mentioned earlier, of course, about being on this production. One other question I have about Divorce Sisters, I wanted to ask you about, Taylor, and that was about being with this cast. I saw in one of the articles I read in an interview you did, there's this great photo of you in it, with the cast. Talk to us about that experience, especially with Latoya. I saw you hugging Latoya in one of the pictures. I think outside of it may have been outside of your trailer there. What was that like for you to be around people who were equally as passionate about the show and the characters as you were?
Oh my goodness, absolutely beautiful.
Mhm,
Man, I'm just like reminiscing of the experience of being on set, especially with, Latoya Luckett. She
mhm.
is an icon,
Yeah,
obviously, and she has the most beautiful spirit
yeah,
ever. I absolutely, and like everybody on set, like all the characters, I
yeah.
mean, absolutely amazing. And it's great because I feel like we all share a connection. We all want the same thing, which
Mm,
is obviously to tell a story, and we want people to
yeah,
feel our experience of what they're seeing.
right.
Um, so it was beautiful. Like, it was
Mm,
amazing, and working with the Tyler Perry. I
yeah.
mean, I could pinch myself and say, "Okay, am I still dreaming?" He is absolutely like phenomenal. Like
Wow.
phenomenal. And to this day, it still doesn't feel real. Like, I'm gonna constantly say that because I'm living my dream right now. So I'm like, wait,
Sure.
am I up? But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, oh my gosh, they're all amazing actors and actresses.
yeah,
And working like, especially like with Latoya and Devin Franklin, I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys, like, this is crazy. This is so good. And
yeah,
like I'm like lost for words because
yeah,
it leaves me speechless each
yeah.
time.
For sure. And I know it has to feel good to Taylor to be doing something that you love, to share that experience. And then, of course, thinking about the future, which leads me to the last thing I want to ask you about, because here we are now at the beginning of another year. You and I were just joking that it's about to be halfway through January already, which is insane.
Yes.
But how does the momentum of 2025, how does that make you more optimistic, or does it make you more optimistic about the opportunities ahead for you this year?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's kind of a little, there's a little bit of pressure. I'm like, okay, wow, I had a
Okay.
great, 2025. How is it going to be for 2026? Am I going to be disappointed, or, do I
Mm.
have a high expectation? That's when I have to pump the brakes a little bit and being like, just take each day with a grain of
Yeah,
salt.
yeah,
Don't worry about tomorrow, like focus on today.
mhm,
And whatever is given to me is given to me for a reason.
yeah,
And that takes the pressure away. I feel like a lot of actors are like always wondering what's ahead. It could be in 25, 20, or 2026, 2027, and so on, that you're like, okay, what's next? Is this gonna lead to something else? And what is that something else? But just letting it go, focusing on the present, it keeps me, I would say, like, grounded, as a person, and not jumping ahead, because you lose yourself in that if you're constantly worried about the future. And
yeah,
with that, I'm able to enjoy, my life today, even
yeah,
with that uncertainty of what's coming next. Nothing may come next, or something big may, or you never
yeah,
know.
yeah,
So I just have to remind myself of that. And I want to encourage other actors to do the same. Like, don't focus on the future. It's super easy to anybody. You're not even an actor. Don't focus on the future. Focus on what you're doing right now, because that's what you can control.
love that. Such a great message. Again, everyone, Taylor Farrar has been our guest. You guys have gotten to see her, of course, on Divorce Sisters. For you guys joining us on the Amazon side, make sure you guys catch up if you have not been watching yourself. Of course, for the rest of you, you can find it there as well. Taylor, I want to first say thank you so much for taking out the time. You were so generous in being able to respond back about this conversation, and for taking out the time today. Really appreciate that. How can our audience stay connected with you?
Yes. Well, Cyrus, first of all, thank you so much for having me on. It's such a pleasure to be here, and I really appreciate your time. People can totally stay connected with me on my Instagram. It's Tay Farrar. Feel free to DM me. I will answer you or, whatever you need.
All right. Appreciate that. And
Yeah.
Taylor, looking forward to our next conversation together. Really appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you again, and bye, everyone.
All right. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Cyrus Webb Presents. Until next time, you all make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.